What's up, guys? In this video I'll show you how to vinyl wrap the inside and outside faces of a door using 3M architectural vinyl wrap called DiNoc. And so you'll start off with a piece that's already cut out, as you can see I have here, that's big enough to cover the door in its entirety as well as to go around the side edges, plus a little bit of extra to cover the sides of the doors. And what I'm doing here is using my back slitter to create a zipper across the top portion, and then what you see here is I'm creating another back slit on the backing paper only on the hinge side, or what will be the hinge side, and that'll just kind of make it a little easier for the application process. Once I've got that all done, I'm just making sure that I kind of roughly place the vinyl to make sure I'm going to have it in place that'll cover all the way up and down, particularly towards the bottom. Once I've got it in place, just holding it there, I pull that zipper that I had cut out earlier, tack it very lightly, and I'm just double checking to make sure everything meets. And once I'm comfortable and know that it will meet, go ahead and peel off the top portion as you saw me do just there and apply it all the way up. Now in order to apply the rest, I like to roll it up and then I lift it up there to be able to get underneath the paper, and then start to pull that part down. And you'll notice that once I kind of get out of the way, you'll see that part of the vertical hinge that I made on the right side where the hinges are, you'll see that it's still not applied because I still have backing paper there, and that's just so the vinyl itself won't get stuck on the hinges as I apply it. Basically now I'm just rolling the paper down for about maybe a foot to foot and a half worth, and applying that, and then rolling it down foot to foot and a half worth, and applying it across the face of the door down to the bottom, as you can see me doing there. Reach the bottom, go ahead and peel off the vertical hinge, and then I work the rest of the vinyl towards each of the hinges. Once I hit a hinge there, I kind of just trim it out so that I can make these flaps that go around the hinges, and I can finish applying towards the edge of the door, kind of as you see me just doing there, just finding the tops and bottoms of the hinges and then cutting out and away. Once I've done that for the hinges and I'm at the bottom here, I just go ahead and trim out the bottom edge of the door so that it's a little easier when I open the door a little bit later, since I'm down there at the bottom. And this is kind of what it looks like once I've trimmed out around the hinges. You can see that I just basically found the tops and bottom and made those flaps. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to pull the vinyl that's stuck to the door framing off of the door framing, and you can see I pre-taped it with masking tape so it's a little easier for the vinyl to come off of. Cut open the door handle hole so that I can have something to kind of grab onto when I pull the door open, and pull it open very carefully. Do it slowly just in case your vinyl is a little stuck so you don't rip anything. Now what I'm doing there is taking some 3M primer and I'm applying it to the edges of the door, outside of the door, because I'm going to wrap that vinyl around the edges, and I want to make sure that on this side, when it comes around the edge, it sticks really well. Once I've got that down, you can see I've got my wrap glove on, and I'm just basically, I do about 5 total passes, 2 on the side with the vinyl to kind of start to get it going and rolling over the edge, 1 directly over the edge, and then 2 more kind of rolling that vinyl over the side edge. That's where the vinyl is going to be applied on the side of the door. Once I've got it down nice and smooth and there's no air channel right on the edge there, I take my squeegee and I'd like to just make sure everything's smoothed out, flattened out, and pressed down very well. And while I'm on the side, go ahead and cut out the keyhole, not the keyhole, but the little latching mechanism square there. So on the other side with the hinges, you see I'm just taking my fingers and kind of flapping it through, and again, having tape on the frame helps to make sure it doesn't stick so hard. And what I'm doing here is essentially the same process I did on the other side of the door, just in between each of the sections there. Doing a couple passes on the back side of the door, rolling it around and making sure there's no air channel built up on the side edge of the door as I bring the vinyl around. And once I do have it smoothed out, flatten it down with my squeegee. Here's what it'll look like up close. You can see that it's been rolled around over the edge really nice and flat, and that you do have a little bit of excess vinyl over the hinge parts. And so what I like to do is take my micro squeegee and trace out the lines here, and we're going to go straight out. You'll see there's actual exposed wood on the right side there, but that's going to get covered up once we do the other side of the door. So once I've got that traced out really nicely and really well, you can see I'm just taking my knife and then cutting those excess pieces off of the hinge part there, trimming out the bottom while I'm down there, and then trimming off the excess vinyl that's leaning or on the other side of the door. Trimming that off, I'm just using the side of my blade against the side edge of the door and just essentially cutting straight down, keeping a little bit of tension on these longer pieces. Sometimes the doors are a little jaggedy on the edges, and sometimes your knife might catch that. If it does, just stop and then start over or start up again. Now I'm just trimming out the top side of the door here, and you can see that the top of the doors, especially doors that you might be re-DiNocking or finishing, will have kind of jagged, bumpy edges, and so your knife might catch occasionally on there. So if it does, just stop and then kind of just reassess and then continue on with your cut. On the far side of the door, just a long straight cut. Again, I've got the side of my blade against the side edge of the door, using that as my guide, and I'm just trying to make sure I make a good clean cut. I'm trimming back just a little bit because I know I'm going to wrap over on the other side here as the next step or shortly after this. And so this is that side fully wrapped now. And that's just the inside of the door inside the room. And so the next part will be wrapping the outside face of the door. And again, I start with a piece that's cut big enough to cover the entirety of the door, up, down, left, and right, all around the edges, and plus a little bit extra. And this, I made a zipper already, which you see I peeled that zipper paper and checked the placement of it, and now I'm just peeling off the paper. Peel about maybe a foot. That's what I like to do, roughly. Whatever's comfortable. Make sure that you don't have any wrinkles. Pull off too much that there's any wrinkles. And then apply, peel, and basically peel and apply, peel and apply, peel and apply. While I'm at the bottom, I'm trimming out that bottom so that it doesn't catch on the carpeting or the flooring once I have to move the door. And then again on the sides, I'm doing those multiple passes with my wrap glove, followed up by my squeegee to make sure it's applied nice and well. And I'm doing that for both sides, the hinge side and on the door lock, door handle side itself. Basically, again, the same process, trimming out that hole where the latch mechanism goes, and then trimming out the bottom a little bit so it'll open a little better, trimming out the top. I'm gonna start patting down and making a fold line. Here's what I'm doing in that process there, and then using my micro squeegee or squeegee to smooth out that line. And what that does is it creates a line that that fold line is essentially now a line that when you go to cut, your knife will follow that line essentially. So just doing that, making that fold, and then if you have any excess, you can trim it off just like I did there. Do the cut across the top here to clean off the vinyl across the top is the next step that I did. And then on the hinge side, I'm doing the same thing. Just have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to do above and below each of the hinges. And so I'm bringing the vinyl over, I'm folding it back and making a good crisp fold line that my blade can then now follow that fold line down as I cut. And so that's what it looks like when I cut out those pieces there. And next is to cut out the pieces of vinyl over the hinge sides. And so like I did before, just take my micro squeegee and I trace it. And now this time I have that vertical part that we didn't have before. And so like I said, it gets covered up on this part of the application. Trace it out with your micro squeegee and then carefully cut it out with your knife, as you can see me doing there. If you do really good lines, a lot of times there's such a good gap here that your blade will just fit right into those gaps and cut really nicely. Do that for the rest of the remaining hinges. And then just make sure all your work is sealed down really nice and well. And basically that side of the door is done. As you can see here in the video, it looks like a brand new door. And basically that's it, guys. So this is the before, and then here will be the after for each side of the doors. Hopefully this video was helpful if you're looking to reface or resurface your doors using DiNoc. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button. And thanks again, guys, for watching.